Officiating today's service is Rabbi Michelle Stern. In a few moments, the grandchildren and their significant others are going to go to the hearse to escort the casket of Mrs. Pawlow to the grave. Thank you, Paul. Very good. Just as a reminder, if anybody has a cell phone or any noise-making device, please take a moment to turn it on to silent. Once again, officiating today's service is Rabbi Michelle Stern.
So short. Ezri meim Adonai Ose shamayim va'aretz Ezri meim Adonai Ose shamayim Ba'aretz. A song for the ascents. I lift my eyes up to the hills. From where does my help come? My help is from Adonai, the maker of heavens and earth. I will not cause your foot to fail. Your protector never slumbers. Behold the one who slumbers not, who never sleeps, the guardian of Israel. Adonai preserves you. Adonai, your shelter at your right hand, a support. By day, the sun will not afflict you, nor the moonlight by the night. God shall guard you from all evil and will keep your life breath safe. God guards your going out and coming in from now unto eternity. Adonai mi yagor be'ohalech, mi yishkon behar kodshecha, holech tamim ufoel tzedek v'dover emet bilvavo. A translation of Psalm 15. Who is worthy to be counted among the extraordinary? One who lives with integrity, does what is right, and recognizes the truth, whose tongue utters no slander, who does others no evil, who does not reproach neighbors, but feels scorn for those who act despicably and cherishes others who behave honorably. Unwavering, this person will keep a promise even at personal expense, and will never lend money with ruthless intent or take a bribe to harm the innocent. Whoever lives this way will be remembered always. On a Hanukkah menorah, there are 8 candles representing all the days of the holiday. And they are assisted by the light of the shamash candle, prominently displayed higher or separately from the others. The shamash shares her light, encouraging others to glow. She's in charge. The macher, the balabusta, mother, bubby, grandma, ceaselessly caring, protecting, and helping her family and community. This was Mary Pawlow, a shining light, the last of her generation, a woman like no other. This is a woman who salted and soaked her own meat, cooked for weeks leading up to holidays, baked every night during Passover so that her kids would have a treat the next day. She made kishka, kreplach, and gefilte fish from scratch. Mandel bread was at the ready in the freezer, ready for guests. And she had a potted plant in the kitchen, ready to receive accidentally mixed up meat and dairy utensils. If anyone got sick, she'd always have chicken soup on hand, delivering it with love and peppered with advice. Don't cross your eyes. They will get stuck that way. Never crack your knuckles. Even when she herself was sick, she concerned herself with her granddaughter's attire in the ER, lest she encounter a handsome Jewish doctor and not look her best. Perhaps she learned these things, the kashrut, the cooking, the bubba meisers, in her childhood home. Mary came into this world on Christmas Day, 1924, and she departed this world peacefully this past Tuesday, November 30th. She grew up on the west side of Chicago and spoke Yiddish at home. Her parents, Isidore and Sophie Baroulia, had a dried goods store. Isidore worked long hours, kept company by the family dog Bootsy. Mary, known by many family members by her Yiddish name, Merki, and her siblings, Rose Ross and Jaime Baroulia, helped care for each other while their dad worked. Holidays with Mary were a family and communal affair. Everyone was invited to coffee and from cousins, in-laws, siblings, friends, even the dentist. An open house, Mary always wanted to be near her family, no one being separated, and she modeled this lesson and her children learned. Mary always lived within a few miles of her children, a true gift. Mary sought to help. She loved to babysit, offered to help with her grandchildren's B'nai Mitzvah, even to set up furniture, and was social and involved in her community. While raising her children, she was an active member of Ner Tamid. She served on the board, helped with the auction, and participated in the sisterhood. And when she moved to Buffalo Grove, she joined B'nai Tikva and had the same seat every Shabbat. She continued her love of Torah at Gidwitz Place and Lieberman Center, regularly attending Torah study and Shabbat services. Occasionally, she would go back to B'nai Tikva after her move to Gidwitz Place, and she'd reflect, I'm like a mezuzah. Everyone would come and kiss me. And speaking of kisses, she always gave 2 kisses to her beloved Danny each night before bed. Introduced by a mutual friend, they were married February 21st, 1948, and they were inseparable, the loves of each other's lives. They raised their 3 children, Stephen, Scott, and Abby, and they traveled together, were committed to family and those around them. Mary's only sadness came when she felt she couldn't fully care for Danny when he became increasingly frail. They were together until Danny's death in 2006. Together, Mary and Danny were blessed to see their family grow. They welcomed extra children when Stephen married Andy, Scott married Vicky, and Abby married Ira. The Pawlow family grew to include beautiful grandchildren, Jamie, Rachel, Lauren, and her husband Brad, Seth and his wife Melanie, Joshua, Mariah, and her fiance Zach. She always was surprised as her grandchildren came to visit. Coming down the hall of her condo, she'd proclaim, there they are. Mary got to enjoy and adore her great-grandchildren, Riley and Corey. And it was particularly meaningful for Mary and the family to attend Riley's bris. Mary was able to stay close to her siblings and in-laws in part because she lived in a 2-flat with her brother-in-law Hai upstairs with his wife and 4 children. She talked to relatives all the time, was close to her sister-in-law Anita. She loved her nieces and nephews. She lived with her mother-in-law who helped with her children while she worked second shift doing clerical work. She went to work each day from 1 to 9. Mary was protective of her children, calling them in from the park at dinner, keeping an eye out for their well-being. She attended all her kids' activities. However, she was not a fan of Stephen's commitment to football playing in high school. What if he got hurt? So protective was she that she hid a football scholarship to a university from him. Despite not loving her son playing football, Mary was a huge sports fan. She knew the Cubs lineups and batting averages. She took her children to Friday Ladies' Day games, packing lunches and riding the CTA together, keeping young Abby engaged with the promise of a 7th inning treat. Her granddaughter, Mariah, watched the 7th game of the World Series with her when the Cubs finally made it. She even watched the Bears and the Bulls. But hockey was not her sport. The puck moved too fast. Mary never ceased to be engaged in the world around her, not until the last few months of her life. I met Mary about 5 years ago at Gidwitz Place at a breakfast table. She was sitting with a friend who, due to increasing blindness, was unable to read the menu. And Mary was there, offering up the daily specials so her friend could decide what to eat. I feel like that's quintessential Mary. I feel blessed to have been her rabbi for the last few years of her life. We prayed together, learned Torah together, cried together, particularly when she was worried about her family, and when she was told she was going to leave Gidwitz for Lieberman. She delighted when service leaders, including me, brought children to Shabbat services. I witnessed her resilience as she found her way at Lieberman, independent of her devoted caregivers, Cece and Flora. She met her neighbors, engaged with programs. And near the end of her life, she shared some of her earliest memories about her mother. And we talked about which prayers were meaningful to her. The end of the hymn, Adon Olam, was a shared favorite between the two of us. Biyado afkid ruchi, be'et ishan va'ira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li velo ira. In your kind care, my soul can nest. By day, by night, with you I rest. While I breathe and when my life's gone, you are with me, I fear no harm. Into your hand I'll place my soul. Proverbs teaches the candle of God is the human soul. Mary's light glowed so brightly in her life, she couldn't help but share it. Like the Shamash, she has passed her light on. Her memory, her legacy continues to shine in you, her sparkling jewels, her family. May her memory bless us always. Ach tov v'chesed yirafuni kol yemei chayai. Ach tov v'chesed yirafuni kol yemei chayai. V'shavti b'veit Adonai laorech yamim. V'shavti b'veit Adonai laorech yamim. Those are closing words from Psalm 23, and I invite you to turn to your booklets where we'll find an English translation, and let's read Psalm 23 together. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Eternal, as we recall our departed and the blessings she bequeathed us, we pray that our faith, like hers, be strong, our devotion to the Torah unfaltering, our love and our concern for Israel and humanity unceasing. For as we identify ourselves with the life, hopes, and traditions of an eternal people, we ourselves take on the aspect of eternity. May we live so that when our years draw to a close, we too shall be remembered for good and for blessing. Eternal God, standing by the final resting place of our beloved Mary, we are thankful for the years which she was granted and for the blessing of having shared those years with her. Strengthen us so that we may bear our loss without despair, but rather devote our actions and aspirations to honor her. Tehi nishmata tzrura b'tzror hachayim. May her soul be bound in the bond of life. I invite you, if you are comfortable doing so, to please rise for El Male Rachamim. El Male Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hamsei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, B'malot Kedoshim Utehorim, Kezohar Harakia, Mazirim, Et Nishmat Miriam Batzipa v'Yisrael Shalcha L'olama. Hana Bal Harachamim, Astirecha B'Seter Kinafecha L'olamim, Utrom B'Tzvar HaChaim, Et Nishmata Adonai Hu Nachalata V'tanuach B'Shalom Amishkava V'nomar Amen. God filled with mercy, dwelling in the heavens' heights, bring proper rest beneath the wings of your Shekhinah, amid the ranks of the holy and the pure, illuminating like the brilliance of the skies, the soul of Mary, who is gone to her eternal place of rest. May you, who are the source of mercy, shelter her beneath your wings eternally, and bind her soul among the living, that she may rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. What constitutes an Eshet Chayil, a great woman? Her worth is beyond rubies. Her husband puts his confidence in her and lacks nothing. She is good to him all the days of her life. She gives generously to the poor and extends a hand to the needy. She is robed in strength and dignity and cheerfully faces whatever may come. She opens her mouth with wisdom. Her speech is full of kindness and love. She oversees the activities of her household and eats not the bread of idleness. Her children come forward and bless her. Her husband praises her, saying, "Many women have done well, but you surpass them all." Charm is deception and beauty is illusory. But a woman who reveres the eternal values is much to be praised. Place before her the fruit of her hands wherever people gather. Her deeds speak her praise. Adonai natan v'Adonai lakach, yehi shem Adonai mevarach. The Eternal has given and the Eternal has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Eternal. May it be your will, O God, to provide eternal rest and peace to the soul of Mary. Help her pass gently to the world to come. Enfold her with love. The mysteries and boundaries of life and death are beyond our control. We are subject to a force greater than ourselves. Rav Elazar taught in the name of Rav Chanina, when a righteous person dies, that person is lost only to the present generation. This may be compared to a person who lost a pearl. Wherever it is still a pearl. It is lost only to its owner. Al mikoma tavo b'shalom. May Mary go to her place in peace. I want to invite the casket to be lowered at this time. May those who mourn the loss of Mary find comfort in the hope that though the dust returns to the earth as it was, the spirit returns to God who gave it. Those we love have passed through the gateway of the grave into the peace of life eternal. We know that all of us must tread the same path, though we know not when the hour may come. Let us so live that the coming of that hour shall find us unafraid. May our deeds do honor to the memory of our beloved, whom you have taken to yourself. Trusting in your wisdom and loving kindness, we praise your name. I invite you to join with me in Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on the back of your booklet. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, v'chay echon uv'yom echon uv'chayed chol beit Israel, v'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivorach le'olam omei omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudasha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran v'yoma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. So we're going to take the time to do a mitzvah that this whole thing is a mitzvah, but this in particular is very personal, and it is to help bury Mary. It's a mitzvah that she can't repay to us, but we honor her and take part in her finding peace in her final resting place by shoveling earth into the grave. This is optional. Some people don't feel comfortable doing it. Others find it meaningful. I would just invite that as people take their turns coming up and taking a shovel, that you don't, the instinct is to hand it to the next person. And I would encourage you to put it back in the earth, because each person, all of you, had your own individual relationship with Mary. And so by taking up the shovel, in some ways, you're indicating your personal relationship with her. So we'll take some time to do that at this time.
Once again, on behalf of the family, I want to thank those of you who are joining us on the live stream. And just as a reminder, memorial contribution in Mary's memory can be made to Congregation B'nai Tikva. That information is on the folder that we handed out the service today. And for those of you who are online, that information is at ChicagoJewishFunerals.com. Thank you.
So, when everything's done.
Once everybody's had opportunity to participate in the burial of mass, the immediate mourners to stay over here. The rest of us will file with facing each other as the rabbi will lead us in the traditional work of comfort.
Yeah. Gabby.